Pokemon Horizons episode 79 just caused some of the biggest and angriest reactions I've seen in so long in this community. You see, in this episode, Liko, Roy, and Dot battled the top champion of Paldea, Geeta, and the result of that battle genuinely shocked and stunned and angered so many people. I have an absurd amount to say about this episode. I am so passionate, man. So let's dive into it right here, right now. The episode began with our heroes arriving at the Paldea League building, and they meet with the top champion Geeta and Penny and the Elite Four, and then they tell all of them about the 6 heroes and Lucius and the Raikou Paradise, before requesting to enter Area 0 to find Lucius VS Entei. Honestly, it's really cool to see all the Elite Four here. The writers didn't have to include them, but they chose to anyway to make the story and characters all feel more connected. I really respect that, and now that the Elite Four know about everything going on, it really makes me wonder whether the Elite Four and Geeta will be involved in the big final battle towards the end of the series. Similar to what happened in X, Y, and Z with all the gym leaders versus Team Flare. That'd be so cool, man. Geeta tells our heroes that Area 0 is forbidden and not accessible because of rare, powerful, unknown Paradox Pokemon that live there, but Liko, Roy, Dot, and Friede beg for the chance to go to Area 0. This is such an integral part of their journey after all. Then, to everyone's shock, Geeta says the only way they're allowed to go to Area 0 is if they prove themselves by beating her in a battle. You heard me right, dude. Liko, Roy, and Dot versus the top champion of Paldea, Geeta. We all know that Geeta was unfortunately a little bit weak and underused in the games, but man, I really hope the anime is going to do her justice here. Even in a 3v1 battle, Liko, Roy, and Dot's chances of winning here are insanely slim. Geeta's a champion after all, but they're determined to give it all they've got. Later on the Pokemon League battlefield, Geeta warns our heroes that she's utterly incapable of holding back or compromising in Pokemon battles. So basically she's saying she won't go easy on them. And then the battle begins. It's Floragato, Quaxwell, and Crocalor versus Geeta's 3 Pokemon, her ace Glimmora and her 2 Glimmerts. I really love that Geeta is using 3 Pokemon from Area 0 to test whether our heroes are qualified to go there or not. It feels really fitting, dude. So before the battle begins, I just want to say really quickly, this battle has been insanely controversial in the community today. Like, unbelievably so. So what I'm going to try and do is kind of cover all of the strategies and what happened in the battle, and then I'm going to fully elaborate and fully explain my strong opinions about the battle after we finish talking about the battle, you know? So the battle begins with Roy's Crocalor using Stomping Tantrum, but Geeta's 2 Glimmer use Rock Polish to boost their speed and they dodge it easily. Man, I already know this is going to be a fire battle because we're already getting status moves. The 2 Glimmer are flying around way too fast to attack, so our heroes decide to focus on Glimmora instead. Crocalor uses Flamethrower, Floragato uses Magical Leaf, and Quaxwell uses Water Gun, but Geeta's Glimmora easily disintegrates all of the incoming attacks with a Dazzling Gleam. She made it look so effortless, dude. Glimmora's power must be incredible to be able to counter 3 moves like that. And then, while our heroes and their Pokemon are blinded by the Dazzling Gleam, the 2 Glimmer immediately use Power Gem from above, pelting the Pokemon over and over and over. Really cool strategy there from Geeta, blinding everyone and then attacking, you know? Our heroes aren't sure how to get out of the situation because the Dazzling Gleam is blocking their vision, and they can't see where the enemy Pokemon are, but then Roy, being the genius battler he is, commands Crocalor to use Disarming Voice up into the air, because you see, Disarming Voice is a ranged attack and it bypasses accuracy checks, so that means the attack will definitely hit the 2 Glimmer regardless of how speedy they are. And hey, it works because the Glimmer get hit really hard. Man, Roy has come so far as a battler. I love that he's working beyond just raw power now and that he has real strategies too. Dot's Quaxwell tries to take the opportunity to hit Glimmora with a surprise liquidation, but then Glimmora effortlessly and speedily uses Spiky Shield, protecting itself and hurting Quaxwell. Glimmora follows up by beginning to attack, but Liko counters it by making her Floragato use Sucker Punch. You see, Sucker Punch works like a surprise attack, always hitting first. So Floragato hits Glimmora, but then it's revealed that Geeta actually hoped this would happen. You see, Glimmora's ability is Toxic Debris, and that ability basically means that Glimmora fires out toxic spikes against the opponents when it takes physical damage. So the Sucker Punch triggers the ability, and Floragato, Crocalor, and Quaxwell get badly poisoned, and then while Liko, Roy, and Dot try to figure out how on earth they can counter the insane teamwork between Glimmora and the 2 Glimmer, Geeta then suddenly commands the Glimmer to immediately use Venoshock, and as I'm sure you guys know, Venoshock does double damage to poisoned Pokemon. Pokemon. So since Crocodile, Floragato, and Quaxwell are poisoned, this hits them so incredibly hard. Man, I love this battle so far. Geeta is such a smart battler. Pairing her Glimmora with the two Glimmer and allowing them to bounce off of each other with complementary moves over and over, that makes Geeta look like such an intelligent battler, dude. Like, I'm not gonna lie, dude, these strategies from Geeta are genuinely more impressive than half of the strategies we saw in the Masters 8. Our heroes are stressed out because they've never battled a trainer as powerful as Geeta before, but they remain optimistic and they say they'll concentrate and unite their hearts and win this. After all, their entire journey up to now and their promise to Terapagos means they have to win it. Roy has a great idea to try and recreate the strategy that Lucius's Kleavor used against them a few episodes ago. If you remember, Kleavor led our heroes into an area with bamboo everywhere blocking their vision, but then Kleavor used it to his advantage by hyper-focusing on its sense of hearing. It hyper-focused on the sound around it to dominate the battle even when it couldn't see very clearly. Look at Roy being a great strategist again, dude. Remembering it from Kleavor and suggesting it now. So our heroes intentionally lure Geeta into blinding them all with Dazzling Gleam again, and then the three of them close their eyes and fully focus on their hearing like Kleavor did back then. The two Glimmer use Power Gem, but Liko's concentration allows her to hear exactly where they're coming from. Liko commands Floragato exactly how to dodge the attacks, and then Floragato manages to wrap her yo-yo around the Glimmer too, trapping them. Man, it's so great to see our heroes have learned from every encounter, every battle they've had. Using Kleavor's strategy here was so smart. Roy's Crocodile then takes the opportunity to use Stomping Tantrum to hit the tangled up Glimmets. And man, when I say this attack hit hard, I mean it. After all, Stomping Tantrum is a ground type move and Glimmets are rock poison types. This means Crocodile's attack is 4 times super effective against them, and they couldn't block it or brace for it because they were tangled up by the yo-yo too. So the Glimmets take so much damage that they're barely even conscious after this. And Geeta is really impressed. But then once again, Geeta proves her intelligence and skill by making both of the Glimmets use the move Memento. Memento is a move that causes the Pokemon using it to faint, but in return it greatly lowers the power of the opposing Pokemon. So the two Glimmet target Crocodile and Quaxwell, hitting them with Memento, and this nerfs them incredibly heavily for the rest of the battle. It makes them way weaker, you know? And in return, the two Glimmet faint. What a cool idea from Geeta, man. She knew her Glimmet couldn't battle much longer because of the damage they had taken, so instead she sacrificed them to heavily weaken her opponents, basically giving her Glimmora a way better chance to win the 1v3. This really reminds me of when Cynthia made her Spiritomb use Destiny Bond against Ash's Pikachu, basically sacrificing her Spiritomb to nerf Ash heavily so that the rest of her team had a better chance of winning. It's awesome to compare Geeta to Cynthia in that way, dude. After this, Roy and Dot know their Pokemon are heavily weakened, so they really just want to make the most of the 1v3. They want to charge in and attack as much as they can and hope that luck is on their side. But Liko disagrees. She knows that Geeta is far too particular and far too smart of a battler for luck to ever work against her. So as Quaxwell and Crocodile charge in and attack with Liquidation and Stomping Tantrum, Liko, in the words of one of my video titles, absolutely shocks everyone by suddenly commanding her Floragato to do the unthinkable, to attack Roy's Crocodile. Floragato attacks Crocodile with Sucker Punch. Roy is absolutely shocked and confused, but Geeta on the other hand smirks, understanding what Liko is doing. After Floragato hits Crocodile and interrupts his Stomping Tantrum, Liko then demands Roy should use Stomping Tantrum again now a second time. Crocodile does it and the power he unleashes is huge, dude. Far more powerful than ever before. It hits Glimmora unbelievably hard, causing it to nearly fall to the ground. You see, Liko learned from their previous battle against Entei that when the move Stomping Tantrum fails because of being interrupted or not hitting the target, then the next time the Pokemon uses Stomping Tantrum, the power will be doubled. That's what happened in the battle against Entei in the previous episode. And so Liko's Floragato hitting Crocodile mid-move, interrupting it, that allowed Crocodile to power up and hit double as hard with the next Stomping Tantrum. And on top of that, Stomping Tantrum is 4 times super effective against Glimmora, so the amount of damage Glimmora must have taken here is unbelievable. This was so incredible, dude. Genuinely such an unbelievably impressive idea from Liko, one that I never saw coming. It feels so fitting for Floragato, a Pokemon inspired by trickster roguelike cats, like Puss in Boots, to use an underhanded move like Sucker Punch to attack its own teammate, followed by the surprise reveal that it actually powered up its teammate. The way that Liko learned from the battle against Entei in this way really shows how observant and intelligent she is. I couldn't stop smiling, dude. But despite all of that, Glimmora is still standing, and our heroes know that strategy won't work twice. The Elite Four are really impressed, complimenting our heroes, and Geeta begins smiling and clapping for them too, but then she suddenly becomes more serious than ever. She declares that she will use all of her power and all of her strength against them. She pulls out her Pokeball and terastallizes her Glimmora into a rock type. Our heroes are fired up and they terastallize their Pokemon too, ready to fight. Glimmora then unleashes a full power Terra Blast, and Crocodile and Quaxwell dive in front of Floragato to try and shield the attack. After all, Roy and Dot know their Pokemon are weakened from the mementos, so they seemingly know that Floragato is their last hope to win the battle. They want to keep Floragato in this, you know? The attack hits with unbelievable power, knocking out Quaxwell and Crocodile, and the final showdown is Liko vs Geeta. Man, can I just say it was so cool of Roy and Dot to do this. It really shows that they are thinking and battling and breathing and moving as a team, not as individuals. They are together 100%. I really love that, dude. Floragato gets hit hard too, but barely stays standing because the other two took a lot of the damage. And then, perfectly timed, Floragato's Overgrow ability activates, surrounding her in a green aura and powering up her Grass-type moves. And then the final clash happens. Floragato's Magical Leaf versus Glimmora's Terra Blast. And let me just say before we continue, I really don't think that most people have realized just how insanely overpowered Floragato's Magical Leaf is about to be. Not only does Floragato's Magical Leaf have stab bonus power because Floragato is a grass type, but it also has double stab bonus power because Floragato is terastallized into a grass type too. And on top of that, Floragato's Overgrow ability is activated, powering up the grass type move even more. And finally, on top of that, Glimmora terastallized into a rock type, losing its original poison typing defensively. So that means Floragato's grass type move is about to be super effective against Glimmora in addition. Seriously, man, that's insane! Floragato is boosted by a double stab bonus, by Overgrow, and the attack is super effective. I'd be shocked if any Pokemon can survive an attack like that. Magical Leaf and Terra Blast clash with each other, and Floragato screams out, putting all of her power into it, and then to everyone's shock, Floragato wins the clash, and Glimmora gets knocked out, dude! I cannot believe it! Liko, Roy and Dot just officially beat Geeta in a battle, the top champion of Paldea. Bro, this is bonkers. I don't have words. This genuinely shocked everyone online. The reaction has been absolutely huge. I don't remember the last time I saw so much anger and emotion about a Pokemon episode. I have so much to say about the battle, about them winning, about the reactions in the community. Like, genuinely, I am so passionate, dude. But first, let's quickly cover the end of the episode, and then I'll rant afterwards. Geeta is absolutely stunned, but she's so happy and excited and impressed. She never imagined they would beat her, and then she declares that they've earned the right to go to Area 0. The Elite Four are happy and Hassel cries because he's proud of them, and then later on Penny opens the gateway to Area 0 and our heroes head inside. The episode then ended with Coral and Sidian from the Explorers flying above the Great Crater in a helicopter, and Hamba commands them to follow our heroes into Area 0. So Coral and Sidian dive out of the helicopter, riding their Pokemon down into the depths, and I can't wait to see where that leads, dude. Wow, man, what an episode. I'm genuinely stunned. Look, my entire discussion has got to be about that battle versus Geeta, because I have a ridiculous amount to say. First of all, the reaction to this episode online has been huge. The vast majority of people seem to be really angry and ridiculing this episode. They think it's absurd that a newish trainer like Liko could ever beat a champion like Geeta. I've seen a lot of people using this to insult Geeta even more, claiming she is the worst champion ever or the weakest champion ever, etc, etc. And first of all, it's totally subjective who you think is the worst champion. If you think that's Geeta, that's totally valid, that's your opinion, you know? But dude, I seriously feel like I watched a totally different episode to everyone else, because I thought this battle was phenomenal. I loved it, man. And I think that Geeta came across incredibly skilled and powerful and intelligent as a battler. I loved her in this episode, I loved the battle, I couldn't stop smiling. Look, I get it, on paper it seems wrong that newish trainers could ever beat a champion, especially after these trainers only recently failed to beat gym leaders. I do understand that criticism. I really do. It does seem a bit weird and a little bit off-putting and strange. And some fans have been trying to lessen the blow by claiming that Geeta was going easy on our heroes, so that's why she lost. They think she wasn't putting in all her power, that she was testing them, but this isn't true, man. Geeta made it very clear that she's unable to compromise in battles. She gave this battle her all and she still lost. and that's okay. Geeta losing here doesn't make her terrible or weak or anything. Claiming that would be totally overlooking and ignoring all the amazing and nuanced strategies and moments in this battle. First of all, let's state the obvious. This was a 1v3 battle. That immediately puts Geeta at a massive disadvantage. 3 minds versus 1 mind is a huge difference, especially when Liko, Roy, and Dot have been a team for so long. They know each other and how to battle alongside each other inside and out. On top of that, Liko, Roy, and Dot used their 3 strongest Pokemon. Meanwhile, 2 of Geeta's Pokemon are Pokemon who aren't even part of her champion team. She just chose the 2 Glimmets because they're from Area 0. They were more like support fighters for Glimmora. If Geeta used 3 of her strongest champion Pokemon, then obviously she would have been more likely to win, but she didn't. Regardless of that though, Geeta's strats in this battle were incredible, man. She absolutely owned this battle. The way she used the 2 Glimmets and Glimmora to complement each other's abilities and moves, like the Dazzling Gleam to Power Gem combo, the Toxic Debris to Toxic Spikes to Venoshock combo, the Memento Play to help Glimmora, and so much more. All of these moments really proved just how skilled and intelligent Geeta is. She was brilliant, and this battle made me love her so much more than I did before. And on top of that, Liko, Roy, and Dot's victory felt so earned here, dude. Their strategies were phenomenal. The way they worked together and battled as a unified team rather than individuals, that was so impressive and is not getting enough credit. The way they helped each other, the way they learned from their previous battles to figure out their strategies here, the level of self-sacrifice and observation for each other, it was so great, man. They were unstoppable as a team, and I really don't think there's many trainers at all that could have beaten them in a 1v3 here. And that's not even to mention Crocolore's powered up super effective Stomping Tantrum, and Floragato's stab boosted, terra boosted, overgrow boosted, super effective Magical Leaf. Like dude, that combination of buffs and power and super effectiveness alone would take down nearly any other Pokemon. I'm not shocked at all that after such a big and long battle, with so many crazy super effective buffed moves, that they did manage to take down Glimmora regardless of Glimmora being a champion Pokemon. I've seen some people criticizing this battle over Glimmora not taking enough damage to be defeated, especially because it's the ace of a champion, but like I said, Glimmora took insane damage in this battle, and regardless of that, even if you don't feel like Glimmora took enough hits, there's something that I've always felt super passionate about that I want to talk about now. To me, it doesn't matter how many attacks a Pokemon takes to be defeated, because what matters 100 times more is the strategy and the build-up to justify the defeat. Let me explain by talking about 2 example battles. In the battle between Ash's Dracovish and Steven's Aggron, Aggron defeated Dracovish in 1 attack. And similarly, in the battle between Ash's Pikachu and Sawyer's Aegislash, Pikachu defeated Aegislash in 1 attack. But despite that, the difference between these 2 battles was huge. You see, Dracovish was defeated by Aggron incredibly quickly, almost immediately, by just clashing an attack with Aggron. There was zero strategy there, zero build-up. There was terrible pacing, the attack made almost no impact. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the battle between Ash's Pikachu and Sawyer's Aegislash was brilliant. The strategy between them was fantastic, with Aegislash changing forms, slicing up the trees, Pikachu jumping between flying logs in the sky and using the logs to counter Aegislash. Like, yeah, Pikachu beat Aegislash in 1 attack, but the pacing was brilliant, the strategies were so unique and incredible, the whole battle was memorable, so despite Dracovish vs Aggron and Pikachu vs Aegislash both being ended in 1 attack, the difference was huge, you know? What makes or breaks a great battle is not the amount of moves or attacks that a Pokemon withstands. It's 100% about how justified and impressive the battle feels, in terms of strategy and pacing. So yeah, Glimmora may not have tanked as many moves as people might have hoped, but the strategies and pacing on both sides of the battle for the moves we got, they made the battle feel incredible regardless. Geeta did not feel weak here at all in my opinion. Geeta and her Pokemon were brilliant, so were Liko, Roy, and Dot and their Pokemon. I just loved this battle, man, from the strategies to the pacing. So to me, I can't believe I'm saying this because I didn't expect to feel this way, but I am totally okay with Liko, Roy, and Dot defeating the champion. It felt so earned to me here, and I'm so happy about it, man. I understand why some people don't like it and why some people have a problem with it, but I don't know, I feel like that being the main talking point of the episode is severely understating and overlooking how great the battle was. Like, yeah, Liko, Roy, and Dot defeated a champion, and maybe that's controversial, but the way this battle unfolded was so peak, dude. And that's all I have to say about this episode. Let me know your thoughts below, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, join our Discord server using the link in the description, and on that note, thank you all so much for watching, and best wishes until we meet again!